ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting center James Wiseman goes from the Warriors to the Pistons in a 3-team deal with the Hawks. ESPN's Kendra Andrews on Golden State moving Wiseman.
At this trade deadline, with the Warriors still just hovering right above 500, Stephen Curry out indefinitely, the Warriors, if they could make a move now that they thought would help them, they were going to do it.
Kendra Andrews on NBA Today. Woj also reports the Clippers get Eric Gordon and Mason Plumlee in a 3-team deal with the Rockets and Grizzlies. The Pelicans get Josh Richardson in a deal with the Spurs. San Antonio gets Devontae Graham and 4 second-round picks. Jay Crowder gets traded twice today, first from the Suns to the Nets in the Kevin Durant deal. Then Crowder goes to the Bucks as part of a 3-team deal with the Pacers. Crowder hasn't played this season after agreeing to sit while the Suns worked out a trade.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Cash. That's cash. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Sportsocracy coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. You can hear us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and see us. Take us with you everywhere you go. On YouTube, just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. And it is now just 2 days away from Super Bowl weekend. Few more days until Super Bowl 57, and
looks like it's going to snow here for the Super Bowl.
It could, depending on what neighborhood forecaster you're listening to. It could be anywhere from 0 to 10 inches of snow.
Well, I listen to AccuWeather because they have accurate in their name, and they tend to be more so than we'll say some people.
AccuWeather, okay, not the Weather Channel.
No.
AccuWeather.
Okay.
Is that like the weather bug? Is that the same thing?
The Weather Channel spent all their money on Jim Cantori, so if he doesn't say it, I'm Seacrest out. And the only way he says it is if it could kill you.
Yeah, could be some snow Saturday night into Sunday. We'll see if anything happens. I've been promised snow 4 times already this year, and I've seen none of it.
Yeah, and so far we're batting 1,000, and I want to continue that.
Oh.
The next time I see snow is too many.
No, I miss snow. Would really like to see some over the weekend, but hopefully it will not affect anybody's plans for Super Bowl 57.
It won't affect mine. I mean, literally it'd have to snow like 48 feet. And even then, I could just jump out the window. Be right there.
Yeah, living next to the village porch. That would really help you out.
Live in a neighborhood with a bar. It's a neighborly piece of advice from me to you.
41 North Merriman Avenue is where we're going to be hanging out for the big game. Come on by and hang out with us. There's going to be drink specials and food specials and door prizes and all manner of things going on Sunday afternoon at the village porch. Of course, we're anticipating the big weekend. But the NBA is trying its best. They're trying their best to get some headlines in. I think it's...
The NBA trade deadline is the Weather Channel of sporting events. Jim Cantori, which was Kevin Durant. And then Mason Plumlee got traded to the Clippers. Danny Greene, he's a stalwart piece for the Memphis Grizzlies. And what did they trade him for? A bag of basketballs.
Let's start there on our opening drive. The opening drive always brought to you by our good friends over at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. You want to be a part of the family? Get with the Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville family plan, and they will help keep you on the road just like they do me in my certified pre-owned 2017 Rogue that I purchased from them.
And if you saw his previous car, you know that keeping Tank on a road is very difficult because he treats cars like they have wronged him in some way. Me, on the other hand, I got a brand new Platinum Rogue. All the bells, all the whistles. Boulder Pearl Gray, by the way. That's the name of that color. I asked today.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a sweet color of car. And you can have one, too. You just got to go to 629 Brevard Road, tell them the two formerly fat guys of the Sportsocracy sent you.
That's right. And when you mention the Sportsocracy, when you're making your trade-in, they will give you $250 on top of whatever the trade-in is worth just for mentioning us. The NBA trade deadline.
You know, if we're starting with an NBA story, it's because one of us is getting ready to make fun of them aggressively.
Well, yes. We know that. I think it's funny that basketball has now kind of grown into baseball territory for you.
Without a doubt.
It's just fully mockable.
Wait a minute. For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mock everything. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. But in terms of the public landscape, yeah, it's gotten to that territory. Let me give you a fun fact that I learned today. LeBron James just broke the scoring record on a Tuesday night where it was competing with Yellowstone reruns or whatever else you can find on a streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
How many people watch that game? I'm curious to see how close you get. Highest rated NBA game in 5 years.
4 million people.
You're too high.
3.5.
You're too high.
3.1.
You're still too high. It's 3 million. That was the average viewership was 3 million.
Wow.
The conference championship games got 55 plus.
Right.
Yeah, the NBA has very quickly slid into into Major League Baseball territory. Here's what I want to rail on. I am reasonably convinced that I, as the most backslid NBA fan on the planet, I think I'm smarter than 20 GMs in the NBA right now.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Do you remember? You remember that time when Philadelphia just would not come off Matisse Thybulle because he is a cornerstone piece that is going to lead us back to blah, blah, blah. Do you know what they got for him? Jalen McDaniels. That's what it costs.
That's it.
To get this cornerstone piece off your franchise. James Weissman, he's the one that's going to carry the Warriors after Steph and after Klay Thompson. You know what they got for him?
What?
Gary Payton II, who they already had.
And 5 second-round picks.
So I'm going to make a sweeping declaration to every NBA GM right now, and I'm going to win you the Executive of the Year every year for the next 10 years.
Okay.
When you draft a guy, and everybody around the league thinks they're the next big thing, trade them immediately. Don't even tell them where the offices are. Just you stay where you are, and I'm going to trade you to some idiot in about 3 minutes. They're going to give me way too much, and I'm going to win. Because every single time you hold on to one of these guys, you wind up giving them up for 4 bags of basketballs, 120% off coupon from the Olive Garden, and a free tire rotation. Congratulations. Glad you held on to that cornerstone piece that nobody cared about.
Of course, the big move at the NBA trade deadline has been the Kevin Durant trade. Kevin Durant is going from Brooklyn to Phoenix.
Woo!
To team up with
the ghost
Devin
of Chris
Booker
Paul.
And Chris Paul.
The ghost of Chris Paul passed. Yay. I'm waiting with bated breath to see what that looks like.
I mean, you don't think it'll work? You don't think it'll be good?
How do I say this nicely? I don't care. Genuinely, I don't
care.
I could play a game right now. And you know what? We're going to do this later.
Okay.
Because it's going to take me a few minutes to set this up.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a name, and you tell me if that person is an active NBA player that gets minutes or something else. In the YouTube chat, tell me what that something else should be. We've done, I remember one time we did congressman.
We did.
So we did Texan or Texan.
Mm-hmm.
We've done pro bowler or pro bowler. That one's fun. And now I need something. NBA role player. Oh, I'm going to find something. It'll be funny. We do this for a living, and I'll bet you he doesn't get 3 of them right.
Oh, yeah, probably not. I mean,
you asked me who Cy McKillop was earlier, and I went, you do realize that he was on like a really good Kansas team.
And I have no memory of him. No memory of him whatsoever. Trying to follow the NBA trade moves, and there was a 3-team trade involving the Charlotte Hornets, and the Hornets ended up getting some guy named Svi Makalak. I have no idea who that person is.
McKillop is his name.
You've
added
idea.
A syllable every time you've said his name.
Yeah. I mean, that's the woo. Let's go, Charlotte Hornets.
It just doesn't move the needle for me at all.
And we got Mason Plumlee moving on to the Los Angeles Clippers. And what'd we get back? Reggie Jackson.
Hot.
Yay!
Charlotte, I'm going to do you a favor. If you're a Charlotte Hornet fan, the next game that they play, it's a really long layoff. It's next October.
Yeah.
That's the next time they will play a game that means even the vaguest little bit to you.
Absolutely. And how could you not? How did you not know this was going to go that way? Just me speaking to the other Charlotte Hornets fans, the other 5 of us that are out there. Like, did you not think that was what was going to happen when Mitch Kupchak decided not to retire and to come back to this team? Oh, and then you needed a head coach, and you went with Steve freaking Clifford.
You already did that once.
Yeah, it's so painful. It is so painful. Why should we care?
There's not a reason to.
No.
Oh, but LeBron's got D'Angelo Russell now. Great. You're the 7th best team in the West. Awesome.
At best.
And you added Mo Bamba, who I actually like. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
He's big, real good.
At best. Kevin Durant going to the Phoenix Suns. I think that could be fun. That could be a lot of fun to watch. Devin Booker.
You're also overrating that Chris Paul looks like he might have actually died 2 years ago.
He's still fine.
He's bad. Bad. Just remember, I have to stay close enough to this league to do gambling segments on it.
Veteran leadership.
He's not good. Yeah, he's real smart. That's all he's got.
I don't like the fact that you had to give up Mikal Bridges. I felt like he was a piece.
Who cares?
You could have had on a championship.
Did you not learn from what I said to start this? If you've got that young hot piece, that trade it right now.
Just be gone.
I don't care. Do it right now.
It's all just nickels and dimes now.
Totally. There are 7 superstars in that entire league. If it's not one of those, trade them for one. Do it right now because it's the only thing that matters. David Stern once famously told new owners in the NBA, "You're one player away." Well, congratulations. The Phoenix Suns were sold yesterday. New guy went in with, I don't care, luxury tax. I'll pay it. Let's go.
Yep.
Kevin Durant. That's right.
Got to try to win a title. You got to try. You got a window. It's not getting in much wider.
Look, the hit rate of young players in the NBA is lower than the percent of money that goes to charity from Russell Wilson.
Which is why I think it's quite obvious at this point. Seeing all of the second-round picks that have been traded today, those don't matter
at all.
Those are water. I mean, it's just like, here, have a bucket of water.
I brought you a bag of garbage. Would you like it? I'll give you 4 more with that one.
Congratulations. Your NBA G League team is going to be so much better than everybody else.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time that the NBA has led this show in 8 months, and it was nothing but us talking smack about how stupid your trade deadline is.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. I know you're not here for the basketball. You're here for all of the footballs. And with the big game coming up, Jeremy just keeps getting more and more dogmatic.
Oh, I'm up to, I think Kansas City's going to win this game 78-4.
Right.
That's not actually true. That's
so
what
crazy.
people keep telling me that I'm saying, but
Well, I mean, when you make statements like, what was it I heard you say earlier today? Kansas City may score 40 by themselves.
that's not a shot. They've done that on a lot of teams this year, including the best defense in the league.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think this is going to be a way more competitive game than you do. But it is what it is. Deebo Samuel, though, he seems to be on your side. Deebo Samuel says, had it not been for that one unfortunate major injury in the NFC Championship game, we were going to see it.
Yeah, after the break, I want to talk about that because there is a massive misnomer that I'm hoping I'm not helping perpetuate, but if I am, I'm going to shut that down real quick.
All right, people, it's Valentine's Day. Everything has to be perfect.
At Ingles, we know that not every Valentine's Day is four-star perfection with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day!
It just has to come from the heart. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
I believe real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Did you hear about Taco Bell's apology? Yeah, they apologized for going too far with their breakfast. Like the naked egg taco and chicken biscuit nachos? It was too much. All you need in the morning is tasty, simple food. Like the breakfast crunch wrap. Fluffy eggs, melty cheese, sausage, crispy hash browns, wrapped in a warm tortilla. Or, as some call it, a breakfast crunch thing. Grab one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores during breakfast hours only until 11 a.m. while supplies last. Contact local store for hours and participation, which vary.
My new cafe is always packed at lunch. Thing is, we need a dinner rush to keep up with expenses. So I whipped up my own radio campaign at iHeartAdBuilder.com to advertise our weekly specials. Now dinner reservations are booked weeks in advance, and things are really cooking.
A custom radio ad from iHeart Ad Builder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs kick it off on Super Bowl Sunday, just a couple days away. And Deebo Samuel out there talking about the plan for the NFC Championship game. He said they had the perfect scheme. They had the perfect scheme to threaten and expose the Philadelphia Eagles' defensive secondary. It was just one problem.
Brock Purdy had me playing quarterback.
Brock Purdy got hurt. And Christian McCaffrey also saw an interview with him today where he was saying he felt like the opportunity in the NFC Championship game was stolen from them by the injury. And I can see why you would think that. That would have been a much more competitive game had they had an actual living, breathing, decent quarterback. But Deebo Samuel says they had the plan that just basically do what Jeremy was saying yesterday, expose Darius Slay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to make this as clear as I can because I've been very adamant that I think Kansas City is going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia was the best team in the NFC by, 6 light years. And they showed that to you because here's the thing. Brock Purdy didn't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't touch them. I understand when you have an offense that you just know it's not going anywhere. Maybe the effort level dropped off. That's fine. They eviscerated you. They didn't just beat you. They beat you so badly that by the fourth quarter, we were talking about Cocaine Bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad they smoked you. So maybe, no matter what it is you think, Deebo, Christian McCaffrey, any of you, maybe, and this is something that I love telling people, maybe you should just stop talking for about 6 months, and we'll reconvene next year. Philadelphia's the best team in the NFC. It's not close.
Agreed.
My point has never been they're not the team that should be here. And I hope it hasn't come off that way.
No.
Philadelphia is without a doubt the team that should be representing the NFC. They're the most complete roster, not even close.
They just can't.
This misnomer, by the way, that Brock Purdy is some Pro Bowl level quarterback. ESPN put out a redraft of last year and had Brock Purdy going to the Jets at 4. Okay, if you're looking on the YouTubes, for the 47th day in a row, I am wearing a Jet shirt. Let me make something perfectly clear to you. If we went back and somehow had the ability to redraft the NFL draft, and the New York Jets selected Brock Purdy at 4, I would burn my house down to make sure that I got every piece of Jet memorabilia in it at the same time.
Not the signed Klecko jersey.
Okay, I might take that.
Okay.
This is not Joe's fault. It's not Mark Gastineau's fault. But there's this misnomer that Brock Purdy got hurt, and that was like their Pat Mahomes.
No.
He was fine. He wouldn't have changed not nary one thing in that game.
Oh, I disagree.
Do they win?
Probably
Good
not.
Lord, don't put probably in that.
Probably not.
Don't be millennial and give everybody their chance. There's no shot on this planet that they would have beaten Philadelphia. Would it have been much more palatable to watch? Yes. But this revisionist history, I've been listening to this all week, and I've officially got to the point of I can't listen to it anymore. We had the perfect plan. Well, unfortunately, you didn't have the perfect quarterback. And you haven't had the perfect quarterback for a real, real long time.
Mm-hmm.
You had a guy that fit into a system, a guy that I like. You got drugged down the sidewalk in a way that it was almost like uncomfortable. It got really difficult to watch towards the end. So just, okay, you go enjoy the beach because it's beach time for you and golf. And you watch the team that was drastically better than you go play in the Super Bowl.
That is seriously not how I thought you were going to react to that story. I thought you were going to see that story. You're going to see, Deebo. He knows what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I've been talking about.
Oh, no, if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. And when you get beat 39,000 to 6, don't give me the, well, look what would have happened. Stop. And I'm already starting to not like Brock Purdy because people are just overinflating this to the highest extreme.
Well, see, and I feel like there's a lot of misnomers out there about the hatred of these. Remember when we did the daily draft last week, and we did the most unlikable people in sports? And
Russell Wilson should be on that list, by the way. I boo-booed that. He should have been on my list somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. But we were doing the most unlikable people in sports. I saw a lot of quarterbacks getting thrown out, quarterback names getting thrown out there. Tim Tebow and Cam Newton and guys like this. I feel like it's a misnomer that you actually think that we hate those players. It's not the players that we hate, or at least for me. It's the reaction to the players that we hate. The excuses that people will make to make these players more than they actually are. That's what drives the hatred for me on guys like I said, Cam Newton and now Brock Purdy. And like, there's a point where you go way too far with your hero worship and your big talk. Don't necessarily have anything against them, but it is the overreaction to what people think that they are.
This is one year that I can unequivocally say the best two teams in the NFL are playing the Super Bowl.
Yes.
The one big difference is iron sharpens iron. Kansas City has gone through an absolute gauntlet. But they needed overtime to beat the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
And you ever take a day off? You ever go to work there, Junior, and just go, I'm mailing it in today. Frankly, that was today for this guy. That's what Kansas City did.
So that's the excuse for the Colts game, for the
Colts
Texans
game was 3 weeks
game.
into the season.
I get it. But this is what I keep talking about, when you get on me about, I don't need style points. I'm not looking for style points.
Style points don't happen in the NFL.
What I'm looking for is that you don't fall on your face against a much lesser team. And even though you win the game just by a smidge, it's still a failure that it was a competitive game. Does that make sense to you?
No. That actually, saying Brock Purdy should have been Rookie of the Year, I was actually going to say it's the stupidest thing you've ever said. What you just said might have actually been the stupidest thing you've ever said.
But why?
Do you know what the average margin of victory in an NFL game is? If you take and I'm talking the Dogwater Chicago Bears.
5.
Who were, you're too high.
Okay.
It's 3.5.
Okay.
An aggressive win in the NFL is 10 points. If you have the ball late with no chance to win, that's getting smoked in the NFL. And I don't know if it's people watching too many college football games where you see teams win 65-7. I don't know what it is. There's a reason we played Beat the Chief all year long. Every time we saw a double-digit margin, it didn't matter what team was on the other side. We at least considered it.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because it's pretty rare that teams get beat by 30.
Right.
And the fact that people are holding that against Kansas City that's starting to annoy me too. Well, they play all these close games. Well, they played, 4 teams that were in their ballpark. They lost one of them. They blew one of them out, and the other 2 they were in pretty good control of. I don't care how much you win by. Did you win? Yes or no? It's like didDukeWin.com. Did they win? Yes or no? End the message, repeat the line. That's all I care about.
Repeat the line. Okay. Hey. I mean that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. It's just I just find it hard for you to say, oh, well, they're definitely going to win by a huge margin.
No, I said they would win comfortably. It's 14 points.
Not all the time.
I think late in this game, Kansas City will have the ball, and it will be in doubt. Or there will be no doubt of who is going to win this game. That's just how I see it. Okay. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts going up against Pat Mahomes. Okay, one of you is better than the other, and that's not really debatable. Historically, better quarterback wins 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the roster's not good. I'm not saying any of those things. I get Pat Mahomes. I get Andy Reid. That's good enough for me.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Of all of the dumb things that I have seen reported about the New York Jets, I think the dumbest one I saw was a report earlier today from Rich Cimini, who said that during the draft process, Mike LaFleur and the assistant GM of the New York Jets were both in the room trying to argue that Zach Wilson was a better quarterback or would be a better NFL quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. How's that make you feel, Jeremy?
Like somebody is lying to you aggressively.
You think so?
On Rex Hogan, at least. Mike LaFleur, I have no idea. I can tell you right now, I know enough people in that organization that none of them were of the misnomer that Zach Wilson was better than Trevor Lawrence.
It seems absolutely ridiculous to me. And then you look at, you fast forward to where we're at now. Mike LaFleur's already been fired. This looks bad for Rex Hogan, who's still left in the front office.
And is a bright guy.
Yeah, but this is dumb. This is dumb. And one of the source of the content, whoever that person was, said that there were a bunch of us in the room going, what the? Like, you can't possibly believe that. It's the jettiest thing I think I've heard so far this offseason.
Yeah, it's also just patently not true. What is true? Russell Westbrook has been traded from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Gigantic 3-team deal that we got last night. Russell Westbrook goes to the Jazz. He will likely be bought out. Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley go back to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought of this, but I thought of it the second I saw this trade completed. There's a very famous son on the Lakers roster. Doesn't play much, but he does play for the Lakers. You happen to know who that is?
Who?
That would be Scottie Pippen Jr.
Okay.
You have any idea where I'm headed with this?
No.
Well, Scottie Pippen's mother is Larsa Pippen, the ex-wife of Scottie Pippen. Do you happen to know who she dated for about a year right before she started dating Michael Jordan's son?
No.
Malik Beasley. They're teammates now.
Oh, wow.
I have said I am not a huge fan of the NBA. If you want to give me a reality show right now, Scottie Pippen Jr. getting up jumpers when Malik Beasley walks in that room, I'll pay whatever it is. Take my money. I'll give it all to you. Let's go. That is one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen in my life.
So I dated your mom.
Yep. Hey, we're teammates now.
So a thing happened. So I dated your mom.
That is the most epically funny thing I think I've seen in forever.
That makes it.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're Rob Pelinka, please tell me you knew that. I mean, I'm not saying Scottie Pippen Jr. is some big, huge part of this roster. He is still employed by the Los Angeles Lakers. And that had to be something that you knew, because it was not, how do I say this nicely? It was not the prettiest breakup you've ever seen.
I was going to say, is that something that you go to, just a common courtesy, like a professional courtesy? You got to go to Scotty and be like, so we're going to make a change.
We're going to make a move.
You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, yeah, you are definitely a part of our future. But there's another part of our future that was probably at least a small part of your past. And just like to pick your brain on maybe where your head's at with that. Maybe give us some opinions, exchange of ideas.
Well, I did not know that.
It was the first thing I was doing a UNCA game last night when not when it broke towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw the rumor, I literally, there's a button that we can hit that we can talk between each other that you can't hear us on the air. I did it to sports freak Brian Hall, who was calling the game, and I said, please tell me this is true. Please tell me this is true. And I didn't say anything else on why. This is why. I actually think it was a bright move for the Lakers because it gives you two guys that can shoot and a big guy that you can actually play.
But did he have any clue?
Nope.
No,
he did not.
No, I learn something new every day.
Uh-huh.
Here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, we'll continue with our off-season previews next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or two. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning, so stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed, plus a chance to double your refund or win weekly prizes with their Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Ends 4/2/23.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways children of all ages can learn about sustainability and the environment at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
For my small bookstore to thrive, I can't just sell books. So I created a radio ad at iHeartAdBuilder.com to tell everyone about our author events, our story hours for kids, and our amazing lattes. Now we're busier than ever. I'd call that a success story.
A custom radio ad from iHeart Ad Builder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
On the free iHeartRadio app, you never pay to hear what you love, and you never wait to hear what you want. Save your money, save your time, and listen anywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pet bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Off-season previews continue today here on the program, and we keep working our way down the draft order in the NFL. And we're to the team that picks at number 11, the Tennessee Titans.
It's an interesting roster, isn't it?
I mean, it is. It is. You haven't really done anything. There is no sexy rumor that the Tennessee Titans have right now. Like I feel like every team has got the big sexy storyline for the offseason. The Tennessee Titans are just like, well, we're gonna try to do stuff.
We're alive,
right?
They have. So my 2-round mock draft with trades comes out Saturday, and Tennessee is the first team who we didn't give the player that they picked when we talked about this earlier in the week. They probably have my favorite combo of players of any team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, it all goes back to who exactly is going to be playing quarterback for you? Because they don't have any money. I mean, you can save $27 million by cutting Ryan Tannehill after June 1st, which I struggle to believe that's not going to happen.
Do you cut him and maybe re-sign him to a lesser deal? I doubt the market's going to be very high for him.
I would say it's virtually non-existent. I mean, for me, it's Arthur Smith in the message, repeat the line.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine anybody else looking at him going, because that's the only system he's ever really thrived in. So unless that's what you do, he doesn't make a ton of sense. Malik Willis is light years away. I don't know that he'll ever be a quarterback in this league. I mean, I get that he was a rookie, and I get that he was a raw rookie, but he was genuinely awful.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, from everything I'm hearing, it seems like Derek Carr probably ends up in New Orleans. That's the final destination. They seem to be the only team that's really in. They're the only team that's gone far enough down the rabbit hole to actually have him in the building. And apparently nobody else is close.
Okay. I was just thinking everybody else is just waiting for him to get cut.
Yeah, everybody else has had virtually no interest. I mean, every team that's been interested in Derek Carr in any way knows they want him to rework his deal because this deal is not team friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see it being anybody but New Orleans. So then what do you do? I mean, there's not going to be a quarterback at 11. I don't feel like you can go into next year with Malik Willis.
No.
They have a lot of ability to save some money, but for what?
That's a great question.
And that's what I keep doing with Tennessee is, okay, I can save all this money, and who exactly am I going to get to take it? Because at the end of the day, you're still throwing to Robert Woods, Traylon Burks, and Austin Hooper. Yeah, you have Derrick Henry behind you, but I don't feel great about anything else.
No, you need better weapons.
Taylor Lewan is getting older, and the minute he wasn't in that lineup, that offensive line was just Swiss cheese.
I figured that. I think that's where they go with their first pick. You go with a wide receiver.
Oh, no, that's not what I did.
Oh, you're going offensive line?
Correct.
Okay. So this is a Skoronski landing spot for you?
Yes.
Paris Johnson?
Yes. It's one of those.
One of those two.
It's one of those.
Okay. Because those are the top of the class.
No doubt.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I'm just looking at it going, all right, you don't have the raw assets to do a complete rebuild here. The let Ryan Tannehill go, try to bring him back at a lower number. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just don't know why he would do it.
Well, he's not going to have any choice.
He's also 35 years old.
I don't think
Ryan Tannehill could just call it a day. He's made a boatload of money.
Yeah, but I don't foresee that happening.
I do. I don't.
Just calling it quits and being done.
I don't know that you're going to have another choice. Because I'm not so sure that Tennessee can go in with, well, that's a tough sell. That's a tough sell at this point for Tennessee because they feel like they're better than they are. Because the roster's not bad. The roster's just thin because you haven't drafted well in years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you let A.J. Brown go for a first-round pick, and you draft a receiver to replace it. Oh, well, he's cheaper. He's also 30% of the player. And if you're Tennessee, you've got to be looking at Jacksonville going, man, that team's a lot younger than us. And they're already, if not better than us, it's close.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than us this year. I mean, and do you just tear it down to the studs?
I don't think you can.
I mean, but is there anything you can do to be better than Jacksonville? Because I don't see it, and I've racked my brain trying to do it.
Yeah, I mean.
I gave them 2 win-now draft picks. Reset the decks, because next week we've got a series coming out of mullet makeovers. And what I would do if I was your GM, because enough of you asked for it, here we go. And I'm not so sure they're not in worse shape than the Houston Texans are. Houston has 2 picks in the top 12. They've got an elite coach, and if you don't think that San Francisco is about to have a tremendous exodus to Houston, I got a bridge to sell you. They love D'Amico, and they have several free agents on that defense that I will not be shocked at all if he brings with him to Houston.
Okay, so he will pilfer from the San Francisco 49ers.
And I guess that's where I'm looking is, okay, so you got Indianapolis that's in position to get a long-term franchise quarterback.
Yep.
So they're going to be better at quarterback than you anyway. If you look at the roster, top to bottom, Indy's roster is better. Now, yeah, they could have Jeff Saturday as the head coach, so that is your one saving grace. You got the best coach in this division. But are you going to be better than all of them? Because they're all in better positions to retool than you are.
No, Tennessee has the ability to be the number 2 team in their division.
And what does that translate to? Because for me, there's no way you're not getting at least 2 high-level playoff competitive teams out of every other division in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst division in the AFC, and it's not close.
I would agree with that. But you're fighting for the last playoff spot.
And see, for me, there's probably 6 teams ahead of you. So it's a question of, are you delusional enough to stay in purgatory, or do you look around and go, we got some assets here that we could move off of, and we could probably reset this pretty quick. I know they've called Chicago on one.
Mm-hmm.
Please, for the love of God, don't do that. It'll cost you 3 ones to get up there because they do not want to go that far. And I'm fully of the belief that they're using this as leverage to try to drive up the price on Houston and drive up the price on Indianapolis because they're in the division.
Mm-hmm.
You called, so I can leak it that you called because that's not untrue. Nobody's ever said, what exactly did what did they offer? It could have been 11 and a 2 next year. We don't know.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to do that, but this is the most stuck in the mud team and the bad thing is I saw it coming. When you hinge everything on a running back that you are literally running into the ground, don't be shocked when he starts getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And when he starts getting hurt, you don't have anything else.
Right.
Wide receivers are not jumping up and down in a league with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. They're not jumping up and down to play with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't look good at the end of the year, obviously, but, I mean, this is a team that was killed by injury. That offensive line was decimated.
But they're thin. See, there are some teams that can – every team deals with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's the teams that are really top-heavy, and those are the ones that, to me, are the quickest to pull the cord on.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, them healthy, they're a Super Bowl contender. I've seen it. They just won one. They are actually the reigning Super Bowl champions for 3 more days.
Yep.
Tennessee's not that. But we were the one in the AFC last year. Yep, and your roster is aging like a dairy product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
your number 1 receiver is on the wrong side of 30. Your running back is on the wrong side of 2,000 career touches. Everything on this team is getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the defense is good, but is the offense good enough to even halfway sustain that?
And that I don't think, as it's currently constructed, they are.
I don't either, and I'm not so sure what you can do about it. I mean, if you take to the roster with a machete and fire sale it, everything must go. What's your plan? Are you just going to be awful next year and hope to get up for one of those quarterbacks next year?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this as an ideal destination for any veteran quarterback. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's looking at Tennessee going, I can't wait to get there. The Raiders are in better shape for a Garoppolo than the Broncos or than the Titans are.
Right.
And so I feel like you've overplayed the hand for so long that now you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be competitive. I'm not telling you this is going to be one of the 5 worst teams in the league. I just don't think you're a threat to anything.
I could see that.
And if you're not careful and you try to overplay your hand, you're going to be in the same boat that the Broncos are. We're going to go 2 years with no draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Team gets older. I'm good.
I could fully see this team trying to do it, just trying to retread it one more time with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
And see, to me, that's your only solution. If you want to if you're not ready to just tear it down to the studs, I feel like you have to go with Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
No Smiles in the YouTube comments asked, do you trade up to 3 and get a quarterback? I don't want to pay what that's going to cost.
Yeah.
I mean, because be really honest with yourself. Let's say this goes the way I think it will, which is Will Levis goes 1, Bryce Young goes 2. Because I think whoever goes up to 1, if you give up that amount, you're going to get the highest ceiling player, which is Will Levis.
Right.
So now you're sitting at – so you trade up to 3. You're going to have to give up 11 this year. You're going to have to give up your second rounder this year. Probably going to have to give up first rounder next year and probably something else just to get to 3. Because you're going to have to overpay because Arizona wants one of these defensive players.
Right.
So you get up there, and then what do you have? So you have a raw quarterback. C.J. Stroud's the one that would be in my mind there, with no weapons, an aging offensive line, and no capital to rebuild the line. This is the catch-22 that you get into in situations like this. You're not bad enough to pick in the top 10, which means your pick is valuable, but not that much. Look at the trade value chart. There's a reason it falls off a cliff after 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because your hit rate outside of the top 5 is about half of what it is in the top 5. It's the reason teams don't want to fall out that far. So you're never bad enough to reset, but you're never really good enough to be high-level competitive. And if you look at Tennessee, they've regressed slightly every year for the last 3 years. They were the one last year. Yeah, but they weren't as good last year as they were the year before. They just played an easier schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You had 3 teams in your division that were awful. That's one of the hardest situations in the league to me.
I feel bad for this team, or I felt bad for this team going into the season when they lost Harold Landry. That was going to be the big piece. That was going to be the big enforcer, along with Jeffrey Simmons on the defensive front, to be able to give you a little bit more dynamism. That's a
Did
word.
you just do it, Jeremy, and make up a word?
That's the dynamism.
Dynamism. I think that's my favorite employee at Magic City. Dynamism on the main stage.
Yeah, but you wanted to have that little punch, but you just didn't get it with the Harold Landry injury. Now you got him coming back, so you've got that to look forward to next year. So the defense can be better, but you still need that weapon on offense.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't know that I would go with an offensive lineman. I think I would try to get like a Quentin Johnston.
It's just
and then maybe that lures the quarterback when it's time to make the move the next time.
I mean, so your thought here is that I take a receiver who all the receivers in this class are raw to some point. I mean, Quentin Johnson is my favorite because he's 6'4" and runs a 4.3 some odd 40.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, a year from now, Robert Woods is gone. So now you've got Quentin Johnston and Traylon Burks. Who exactly is that beating? All right, I got 2 weapons. Running an old school, very antiquated offense, the power eye with Derrick Henry. I mean, you think I'm beating Cincinnati with that? You think I'm beating the Chargers or the Ravens or even the Steelers with that?
Yeah. No, but you can be competitive.
And see, for me, I either want to be competitive at a high level or I want to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee is in that. It's not easy to get to either one of those for you. Before we go to break, Gage Camplin asked, if you kept A.J. Brown, how many more wins? I'd say 2 a year, at least. Because what they learned last year is Traylon Burks is not the burner. Neither is Robert Woods. So every team they played had 7 in the box damn near every snap. And then the line regressed with no Taylor Lewan. And what you quickly figured out is, wow, this team's really easy to game plan against.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Jeremy's bangers for the night. And coming up next.
All right, people, it's Valentine's Day. Everything has to be perfect.
At Ingles, we know that not every Valentine's Day is 4-star perfection, with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It just has to come from the heart. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Coffee's the closer's only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
There are very few times in sports that you get to get one back on Vegas. But NBA trade deadline day is one of those days. And you may ask, but why is that? Because every year there are 2 teams that wind up playing guys that were just selling car insurance, and we got 2 of them tonight. The first one's the Phoenix Suns, who are a 7-point dog tonight at the Atlanta Hawks. They're starting something called an Ish Wainwright. Damian Lee, who I thought dated Pamela Anderson, but apparently I was wrong, and Torrey Craig. And the bench is actually worse. They're only catching 7. They're going to get absolutely annihilated because there's nobody on this team who can play in defense. Trae Young might have 40 tonight. And I won't be shocked if John Collins does the same because he's irritated he was in so many trade rumors. Give me the Hawks minus the 7. The other is the Los Angeles Lakers, who have 9 players total. And outside of 2 of them, none of them are all that great. And guess what? They get the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Milwaukee's a 7-point favorite. They're not incredibly deep either, but this is a lot of games in the last few nights for the Lakers. They're shorthanded because of the trade, and none of them are going to be there. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks minus the 7.
And you can take those wagers over to BetUs.com. Use the promo code SPORTSOCRACY and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put into the account up to $2,500. Coming up next, it'll be Tar Heel time with Jones Angell, the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, who, well, Tar Heels have seen better days.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or 2. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning, so stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed because there's nothing better than staying in.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We could talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we could talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumping a bag of hammers.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. A flurry of deals before today's NBA trade deadline. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Warriors send James Wiseman to the Pistons in a 3-team deal. The Clippers get Eric Gordon and Mason Plumlee in separate trades. As for the Suns, they now have Kevin Durant. Could they win a title? ESPN's Nick Bontemps.
2-year window, right? This playoffs and next year's playoffs. I mean, could it last longer than that? Sure, it could. Devin Booker is entering his prime. He's a stud. Kevin Durant certainly, I mean, you look at LeBron James, the way he's playing at 38. Kevin Durant certainly has the ability.
Tim Bontemps on Greene. A signed Kobe Bryant jersey worn during his MVP season in 2008 sells for more than $5.8 million today. It's the second highest ever paid for a basketball jersey. A Michael Jordan Last Dance 1998 NBA Finals jersey sold for $10 million last September. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports right-hander Yu Darvish will get a 6-year, $108 million contract extension with the Padres.
Coming up Friday, what would another Super Bowl win do for Patrick Mahomes' legacy? Just wait till you hear my answer. Keyshawn J. Willimax, Friday morning, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And the Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Take us with you everywhere you go for absolutely free. And you can watch us as well on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. It is a Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and as always, here in the Ingles studio, we are catching up with the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell. Jones, we have we appreciate you taking out the time for us. Wish we had better circumstances for which to speak this week, because it seems this is the narrative of a season on the brink has taken over.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's been a tough week, certainly for the Tar Heels. They haven't played very well, particularly in the first half in Winston-Salem. Hubert Davis said afterwards he didn't recognize anything about his team or didn't see anything like Carolina basketball, and I think that was certainly the case. That was an ugly 20 minutes for Carolina in the first half against Wake Forest, and you build that off of what happened, of course, against Pitt and against Duke, where Carolina let close games slip away there in the final couple minutes, and it was a tough several days. And then, Carolina had a very, public team meeting afterwards, or after the Wake Forest game, where they were in the locker room for a good 40 or 45 minutes after the game before opening it up afterwards, where they tried to have some conversations to figure out why they weren't playing as well as they wanted to. Hubert Davis said he just thought his team was better than that, and they needed to figure out why it wasn't showing that on the court. And so for Carolina, certainly the margin of error is very, very slim, if not non-existent at this point, where they still have 7 games left in the regular season, Tank, and you might be able to lose one of them and still get to the NCAA tournament, but I don't think you can lose many more than that. And it's not an easy schedule. So good news for them is that they do play at home these next couple of games, Clemson and Miami. It's a tough turnaround Saturday to Monday. but they get the opportunity to get back out on the court and try to get things turned back around, and they get to do so at home, where they've been markedly better this year compared to on the road. So certainly Carolina needs to get moving forward, and we'll hope to do that starting on Saturday.
How I mean, has there obviously, if there was a solution, he would have already come up with it. But what is Coach saying about the lack of chemistry, the lack of rhythm, the lack of the Carolina way, basically?
I think that's part of the reason why, and this is my personal opinion, why Hubert Davis was so frustrated after that Wake Forest game is, Tank, he has taken, and he said this, a lot publicly, that he doesn't feel like he can coach a player unless he knows that player, and he doesn't feel like a player can play for him unless that player knows Coach Davis. And that is not just in the basketball sense, but on a personal level as well. And so he's made a large effort over the last 2 years since becoming the head coach of getting to know these players, not just as a big man or a guard or a sixth man or whatever he might be, but as a person. And so I think he felt some severe frustration because I think he feels like he knows these guys decently well, but doesn't know why they could still have a performance like they did on Tuesday in the first half. And I do think, Tank, there's a difference between losing a game or having poor late game execution or shooting poorly. All of those things happen, and they happen in basketball, and they're not fun, but it's stuff that happens in a basketball season. And, some seasons have it happen more than others, and you try to work through those. I think that's one thing. I think Hubert Davis saw a complete lack of really desire to play at a high level there in the first half in Winston-Salem. I mean, and that's not to somehow discredit Wake Forest. Wake played really well, certainly. But again, that happens in basketball. And had Carolina been able to even put up any kind of effort in that first half, then maybe you're down 10 or 12, but you're down 22 at halftime. That's pretty hard to come back from, even if you score 60 points in the second half, as we saw Carolina do in the second half in that game. And so I think that's where the frustration and maybe the lack of answers have come from. I think there's some very real basketball answers as to why the Tar Heels have struggled here, particularly over the last week and a half. And you and I talked about some of them last week. But I think it's the non-basketball answers that are more frustrating right now to Hubert Davis, and I'm not sure he has that answer right this second. I think it's one that he's still trying to figure out.
I don't know. To me, the non-basketball stuff is obviously it's a major challenge, but it's the basketball stuff that drives fans crazy. Of when you're watching a team that doesn't seem to have that rhythm. There doesn't seem to be much of a connection like you would expect from a team that made the run to the Final Four last year. It's just a lot of sloppy play, and obviously the missed shots are terrible, and that stuff can come and go. But I don't know. To me, it seems like simple things like shot selection. Just rushing up shots, hoping something falls. There seems to be a lot of that going on with this team, especially with Caleb.
I think I do think Carolina's offense has struggled to find the freedom that it had enjoyed for a majority of last year, but particularly during that postseason run. And I think that is for a couple different reasons. I think the Tar Heels don't have great spacing offensively because, and I think we talked about this last week, Tank, the way Pitt guarded Carolina was very similar to the way Duke guarded Carolina. Not as much Wake Forest, although some, where, Armando Bacot is just having guys in his lap before he even gets the ball because Carolina does not have some real viable shooting threats at the wing position right now. I think teams know that and are willing to risk that if Leaky Black and Pete Nance can get hot from the outside and they have a great shooting night, teams are willing to bet on that. They're willing to say, look, if they do that, then okay, tip your cap. But they would much rather, opposition would much rather clog things up in the middle, which makes it difficult for Armando Bacot. It makes it difficult for Carolina's guards to drive the basketball because there's just more bodies there. And so that has been a recurring theme, particularly when you've gotten into these teams that know Carolina even better because they see them all the time. I think also, quite honestly, Caleb Love and R.J. Davis just have not shot the ball very well this season in total. R.J. had that terrific run of 9 or 10 games where he was shooting right around 50%, including from three-point range. Mm-hmm. But then he got knocked around in that Syracuse game, hurt his finger, got hit in the head a couple times, and he has not shot the ball as well after those incidents against the Orange. Caleb Love has just not shot the ball very well all season long, and you've seen flashes of it from now and then, but it just hasn't been a consistent thing where he's been able to knock down threes. I think some of that is the shot selection, but I think that goes back to what we just talked about in that it's harder to space the floor, it's harder to get quality shots because of some of the challenges that Carolina has. And then also, I do think Carolina has struggled with the lack of a true, I don't want to say pass-first point guard, but I think a guard that has that is really kind of guiding the ship more so than looking for his own shot or looking for ways to score. And that sounds like a negative, and I don't mean it that way. R.J. Davis and Caleb Love are both offensive-minded guards. They are guys who have built their game on scoring. And so when it's getting more difficult to score because of some of the spacing, some of the things that we talked about, I think it's easier for them to fall back onto, I'm just going to shoot it because I know I can shoot it, so I'm going to shoot it because I trust that. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's been harder to get into higher quality team basketball because of that. So, I think the issues on the court, particularly offensively, are ones that are not easy to fix. But I do think if Carolina could get a little more spacing, and whether that is, Pete Nance, for example, is able to hit shots more consistently, whether that's a Puff Johnson or a Tyler Nickel or somebody else that Carolina has on its roster can fill that role and help things out, I don't know. But I do think that alone, and I know that simplifies it, Tank, it's more than just that, but I think that would be, just from a pure basketball standpoint, an enormous step forward for Carolina to be able to get higher quality shots and in turn just look better offensively.
Yeah. One of the questions hanging out there also as this 3-game losing streak has set in, and you're now making the prognostications of looking ahead to the rest of the schedule. As you mentioned, it's pretty tough with some of the best teams in the ACC coming up over this next stretch. I mean, you only have 2 games that you look at and go, oh, well, those should be wins. I know no wins are gimmies, but you get what I'm saying. And Notre Dame and Florida State should be games that you could take care of business. The others will be really difficult if you continue to play the way that you've been playing. Are we getting closer to a point where we're going to see more minutes spread around? Or are we going to continue to kind of do the Iron 5 thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. One I don't have the answer to. I think what we have learned from Hubert Davis in, a year and 3/4 of a year, whatever we are through this season to this point, is that the way that he has used his bench players, to me, and again, this is just kind of how I have interpreted it, is very much on an opponent by opponent basis. And so you've got the 5 guys that are the starters, and then maybe there's I think probably Puff Johnson would be in the category of he's going to play a decent amount, assuming he's healthy, and that has been a whole nother challenge.
Right.
But assuming he's healthy, somebody who's going to play a significant amount of minutes regardless of opponent. after that, I think you're getting into more, how does the game dictate it? How does the opponent dictate who might make the most sense? And again, that's just my interpretation from how we've seen that play out. It is not something that Hubert Davis has specifically told me, either publicly or privately. I do think Carolina pretty freely used its bench in the Wake Forest game, both in the first half when things weren't going well, and then in the second half where I thought some of those bench players were really some of the catalysts that aided in the better play in that second half. Now, it's also easier to play more freely when you're down by 16 points and you're trying to make a comeback compared to if it's a 2-point game and you've got to have an excellent possession to get a good shot and try to tie the game, for example. So I don't know that answer, Tank. I do think one good piece of news for Carolina is, like, let's take the 2020 season, for example, when the Tar Heels just weren't very good. The year that Cole Anthony was on the team, and unfortunately he just didn't have a ton of help outside of Cole Anthony. I didn't feel like that year Carolina had anywhere to go. Like, it got to the point where you kind of saw what Carolina was, and that's kind of who they were. There weren't a whole lot of other avenues or combinations of players or directions that Carolina could go. I don't feel that way about this team. I think this team has plenty of options. They have some guys that haven't shown it yet because of their youth. But you have guys like Jalen Washington and Tyler Nickel and Dontre Styles and DeMarco Dunn and Seth Trimble, who are all, and Puff Johnson, who to varying levels have seen some time but not a ton, who I think are all capable players that can really help Carolina be good at some point in their tenures in Chapel Hill. And so I would assume that if you that all those options are going to be exhausted because obviously one of your top jobs as the head coach and a coaching staff is to win games. And so they're going to make sure that they have the best options out there for Carolina to try to give the Tar Heels the best chance to win. And again, I think the good news is that you do have options available on this particular roster.
All right, next game the Tar Heels will play. You'll hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. It's going to be on Saturday. You got Clemson coming back. You've already had the streak broken, and please just don't let it happen again. Problem is Clemson's, I think, just frankly better than us right now.
Oh, well, their record's better than the Tar Heels right now. I think Clemson's a solid team. They've really got some nice pieces. Hunter Tyson's a good player, older guy who's really having his best year, averaging nearly a double-double. He's like a couple tenths away from on the rebounding category of averaging a double-double. P.J. Hall, big physical guy down low, really kind of knows what he is and does a good job with who he is down low. He's been able to step out a little bit more and hit some three-pointers this season as well. I really think a big reason Clemson's taken a step forward is Chase Hunter. He's a veteran guard who got good size for a guard and has really played his best basketball, I think, of his career this season to this point. So I think for Clemson, they've got their best guys are older players. That always helps, certainly, and it's Carolina's in the same boat in that regard. And they, I'm assuming, feel like this is an important game for them because they've been near the top of the league for a majority of the season, and now they've had some teams catch them, and they've lost 2 in a row and 3 of their last 6, and so they're going to want to try to get things moving back in the right direction as well. For Carolina, I do think being at home will help, not because it's Clemson. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's the fact that the Tar Heels have been so much better in the Smith Center compared to on the road. And the crowds in the Smith Center from start to finish this year, Tank, have been awesome and have been a factor. And so Saturday, 2 o'clock, those are traditionally going to be great crowds, and it's an important game for Carolina, certainly, to try to get moving in the right direction. And, it's a quick turnaround. So you've got Miami coming in, who I do think is arguably the most talented team in the league. And so that'll be a big challenge coming up on Monday. But first things first for the Tar Heels, and that's Saturday against Clemson.
Yeah, 1 o'clock pregame on Saturday. Clemson Tigers. Jones, will hear you and the rest of the gang on the call. It's going to be a tough stretch of the season, but it's all you got to focus on the next game in front of you. No looking ahead to the rest of the daunting slate over these last 7 games of the regular season. We will we'll chat with you next week. And before we let you go, do you have a prediction on the Super Bowl?
Ooh, I'm going to go Chiefs. It's hard to, I think clearly these were the best 2 teams all year long. I mean, certainly there are some other teams in that discussion. We know that Buffalo was really good and Cincinnati had a really good year, and San Francisco was really good. But it feels like these were the best 2 for a majority of the season. And, as much as I like Jalen Hurts, and I think and everybody who knows him personally says he's just a great dude and he's a good player, I think Mahomes is he's just different, dude. He's just when in years from now we're going to look back and go, wow, that he's one of those upper tier guys who played that position. I know he's already got 1, but he seems pretty motivated that he wants some more than that, and just feel like he's a difference maker, man. He is such a player. So I'll go with the Chiefs, but it wouldn't blow my mind if it went the other way, but I'll go Kansas City.
All right. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Jones, will talk to you next Thursday.
Thanks, Tank. Talk to you soon.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates 240 and 26 moving well. 40 westbound in Haywood County crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound is slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no problems. Mills Gap Road moving problem-free, and Cane Creek Road, no delays. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound, drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips, whatever you need. There's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hansis, and my buds, Mark Sessler and Greg Rosenthal, for the latest football news with just a touch of mirth.
We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that, guys.
Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona, all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio! Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And tonight is the night that we'll find out who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, there's one we know definitively.
Darrelle Revis.
Darrelle Revis, no doubt. That's first ballot. We don't have to talk about that. All right, so we got 4 more spots.
Yep. Joe Thomas.
I would say Joe Thomas is in the same – I would say he's in the same ballpark of that. Okay. There are a lot of really good tackles in that time. So that's the reason I'm saying he's a spot. He's just a notch below Darrelle Revis for me, but it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Darrelle was the best corner in the league for 10 years.
Oh, of course. I mean,
it's from
just
there.
The nickname Revis Island. The fact that
God, that was such a great time to be alive.
Right. I mean, it was just it was a whole wave. It took over the league, and when you're that kind of player,
I didn't have a beard. I didn't have a mullet. I wasn't angry all the time. I drank way less. So that was like the golden age to be a Jets fan.
There's such a backlog of guys that should be in. When is Torrey Holt finally going to get in?
All right, that one I'll give you. That one's irked me for a while.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, he should have been over. He should have been in over Isaac Bruce, and nobody will ever convince me of otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
He was the better of the two.
He was the better of the two. I fully agree with that.
The one that I keep hearing that I'm not going to say it bothers me. I just don't get it. Is Devin Hester.
What do you mean you don't get it?
There are people talking about that he should go in on the first ballot.
No.
Stop.
No, sir.
No.
You can't. Not for a punt returner.
No. To me, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, period.
No,
You did one thing.
Yeah,
and you did it really well.
And
it was – okay, so you scored, what, 15, 18 something touchdowns?
Something like that.
Oh, okay. LaDainian Tomlinson did that in 8 games one time. So
agreed.
Don't particularly know that I care.
But I feel like there's a place for that guy. Is there not a place for that guy in the Hall of Fame, the greatest to ever return kicks?
I mean, to me, yeah, there is. It's with the senior committee that's going to hopefully elect Joe Klecko. You just can't look at me and tell me a guy that was on the field 8 plays a game deserves to be in over Jared Allen.
No.
Who was the best edge rusher in the league for 5 years.
No, absolutely.
Or Dwight Freeney. Or I'll even throw you one. Rondé Barber. You cannot physically tell me you're letting that guy in over anybody I just said, and it make any form of sense.
No. I feel like that's more of a one-play thing. People think that he's the first ballot. Well, he returned the kickoff in the Super Bowl. So what?
And?
Congratulations. He was the greatest to ever do it, sure. I think he did it for a longer period of time than anybody else. I mean, you think about
if somebody looked at you and said, "Is Dante Hall a Hall of Famer?"
Bingo.
Because he's 2.
And Josh
would you not immediately look at that person and go, "Are you doing drugs right now?"
Right.
Because that's the only way you could ask me that question with a straight face.
There are several that could be on that list of greatest returners of all time. None of them did it as long as Devin Hester, but that's not first ballot Hall of Fame.
No, I mean, to me, that's
stuff.
I mean, and I get it. I get it's the same argument that you get with Shane Leckler of, oh, he's the greatest that ever did it. Yeah, and he's a punter.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that in this day and age, everything's got to be fair. We're inviting long snappers to the combine now. Okay. Stop it. Stop that.
Yeah.
We gave you Vinatieri. I get it. Just no.
So, what, is it going to be a class of 5, you think?
Well, it's always a class of 5. This isn't baseball where they could go,
that's
this
right.
year there's
That's
only
right.
2 players that are
forgot
going
about
to
that.
make
Yeah,
it in
that's
our
right.
Hall of Fame.
That's right. So of the class of 5.
Yeah, baseball's the only sport that's stupid enough to do that.
True. So it's going to be Darrelle Revis. It's going to be Joe Thomas.
If it's not DeMarcus Ware, I'm going to be angry.
And
the fact he didn't get in last year still irritates me.
Yeah.
I thought he was a no doubt first ballot guy.
See, I didn't, but
that blows my mind.
But he's not one that you make wait too long.
Then from there, it gets a little more difficult because there's a lot of guys that I look at and I don't see how you let in Torrey Holt before you let in Andre Johnson. One won a Super Bowl. Okay. The other played with me as his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still probably the most talented receiver in the league for 5 years. Plus, he punched Cortland Finnegan right in his eye socket, which for me is a positive.
Okay.
So, and that I can do that with a lot of guys.
So Torrey needs to go first. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm
or
saying
Andre needs to go first.
To me, I think they need to go in together.
Okay.
But you said backlog. You have no idea what a backlog looks like. There's backlog coming. Because you do realize you're going to get Tom Brady and J.J. Watt in the same year, right?
Yes.
And there's a few of those coming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If you had to pick 2 more, who would they be? You're going to say one that's going to.
Well.
Okay, take Rondé out.
Okay. All right.
You don't get to pick Rondé.
Taking Rondé out.
I got to pick Darrelle Revis because, A, I haven't had nearly as much happiness with my team as you have. B, mine is real obvious.
Yes. Man, I would go DeMarcus Ware.
He was 3. I was talking about the other 2 past that. I don't see a way he doesn't get in.
I would go Jared Allen and Torrey Holt. That would be my 5.
What's funny, I don't agree with either of the 2 you just said.
Really?
No. Jared Allen is he's tough for me because how do I let him in before Zach Thomas? Zach Thomas was equally impactful for much longer. And yet he is just an afterthought and that's coming from a Jets fan.
Yeah.
I would love to keep every Dolphin out of the Hall of Fame, and yet Zach Thomas is the one that I look at every year and go, how does he not get any love? He never makes it to the last ballot.
No.
So he'll be in the 15 finalists, and when they put out the voting, he will be the first guy that they booted.
But was he super special?
Oh,
I mean,
Lord,
I know
yes.
he was a great player.
He absolutely.
And he was
you can take it from me. I hated him 10 times more than I hated Jason Taylor.
He was one of the most consistent linebackers in the entire league. I mean, if you wanted to make a list in his prime of the most reliable linebackers in the league, I mean, Ray Lewis would have had some lap over with that era, right?
Yes. They came in the same year?
Yeah.
Or maybe
somewhere close.
Maybe Ray came in the year before.
It was somewhere close. Ray Lewis, him, Brian Urlacher, but I never felt like Zach was that guy.
That's because your team wasn't in that division.
Okay.
Trust me, Zach Thomas was that dude. Like I said, that's coming from a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
I hated him. I hated him with every fiber of my being.
And I fully understand that.
And see, I think that's kind of how I look at when we get to this point of who's going to get in. Who did I absolutely just despise facing? I never felt that way about Rondé Barber.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. But him and Darrelle Revis in the same class. No, you're not even in the ballpark.
No.
So for me, Dwight Freeney he should be in. He should be in. I think he he should be in this.
But
time.
I think Jared's better.
I don't.
Really?
No. One of them survived much longer. I mean, Dwight Freeney was in the league 5 years longer than Jared Allen, and he was always an impact player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get he did the bounce around. I'm on the retirement cycle and was with the Cardinals and the Falcons. Dwight Freeney was a bad man.
Yes, he was. But it was those prime years with the Colts. Look, I've got his jersey hanging in my closet, so I'm a huge Dwight Freeney fan. I like Jared Allen a little bit better.
As I go down the list, it's almost like process of elimination. I can't let Jared Allen in before I let Dwight Freeney in.
Okay.
Reggie Wayne can't get in before Andre Johnson and Torrey Holt.
Mm-hmm.
So that knocks those 2 out.
Yep.
I can't let Rondé Barber in with Darrelle Revis just because that's that's blasphemy, and I won't stand for it.
Mm-hmm.
I always look at Willie Anderson like every time we do this and go, man, you were so good, but how am I
One day,
so good?
You'll get there one day.
Yeah, senior committee. He's going to be like Joe Klecko. Of which, if Joe Klecko doesn't get in, I swear I will be so insufferable for 20 minutes tomorrow. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
So my 3 would be, or my 5 would be Revis, DeMarcus Ware, Joe Thomas. I'm going to go Andre Johnson and Dwight Freeney. Those would be my 5.
Okay. All right. We shall see. We'll find out who it is tonight, and we'll, of course, talk about it tomorrow here in the Sportsocracy.
I do love that I opined, I waxed poetic about how Zach Thomas should be in, and they didn't pick him. Yeah, I do see the irony in that.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or two. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning. So stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County is crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Merriman Avenue northbound at Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed because there's nothing better than staying in.
Being a real estate agent isn't about listing houses. It's about connecting to people. I need to find new buyers every day. So I promote my listings using radio commercials from iHeartAdBuilder.com. Now every time I have an open house, it's a full house.
A custom radio ad from iHeartAdBuilder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways children of all ages can learn about sustainability and the environment at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville, and this is the Sportsocracy. It's time to get weird. I am by no means a fashion icon. If you know anything about me, you know.
Breaking news.
Absolutely.
A grown man wearing a comic book T-shirt. You are not gonna make the GQ list.
I am simple AF. Like, I don't care about the frilly things in life. I don't have to have the latest and greatest next best things. T-shirt, jeans, pair of sneakers. They could have holes in them. I don't care. Well, I have new shoes that are making me very, very happy right now. Like, I can't, when we're not on the air and I'm not in front of the camera, like, I can't stop staring at my feet because these things are phenomenal. Thanks to Generations, our loyal listener, who has a
mine are jet colored and they're sweet.
He has a boutique shop and he listens to us every day. And today we got this box in the mail that has these totally awesome Air Jordan sneakers in them, custom. Jeremy's got his Jets colors.
I've already told Amy I don't know what you're going to have to do to become okay with the fact that I'm wearing these to our wedding, but that's going to happen. Notice I said that at 4:30, not at 5 when she's listening, but I've got my path. I'm going to make it happen.
So you've got the Jets colored Jordan retros.
Ones. Yeah.
I've got Jordan 3 retros that are Buccaneers colors, and they're already by far the most expensive pair of shoes I've ever owned.
They're actually probably more expensive by themselves than every pair of shoes you've ever owned in your life put together. You got to have a lot of burlap sacks to get to that price tag.
It very well may be. I tell this story because it dovetails into my weird story, but also thank you, Generations, for that. And if anybody else wants to send us free things, we're all about it.
All about it. Frankly, half the things in this studio were at some point free, which we're a big fan of.
This story comes to us from Texas, where a Houston woman has had, well, she's had a very tough time all of her adult life trying to find shoes that fit. This woman holds the Guinness Book of World Record for the world's largest feet on a living female. She is 6'9", which is ginormous.
That's 4 inches taller than me. That's 14 inches taller than Tank.
And she wears a women's size 18 shoe.
I don't know how that translates.
Well, it's...
I've never understood women's
it's
to men's shoe sizes.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either. I think the smaller the number for the women, the larger the number for the men. It's kind of like pants. Like, I've got a size 34 pants, but my wife wears like a 2 or a 3, or I don't know how that works. Anyway, this woman has for years not been able to have a pair of shoes, nice high-heeled shoes, to go out on the town with. And she shared her story on social media, and lo and behold, a Chicago boutique has now stepped up and sent her a custom pair of shoes. High-heeled shoes, size 18. These things are massive. I don't know how women wear those to begin with. I can only imagine the taller you get, the harder it gets.
Amy wears high heels every day of her life.
Ugh. It just looks so
I've watched
painful
her
to me.
go upstairs to switch into a more comfortable pair of high heels.
Mm-hmm. Now in her 4-inch heels, Miss Herbert comes to 7'1" in her high heels. That's good for her.
I'm going to tell this story, and if you know me at all, you'll know why I'm excited. Chick-fil-A is jumping on the plant-based bandwagon.
Yay.
The Atlanta chain said Thursday that it's testing its first plant-based entree at restaurants in Denver, Charleston, South Carolina, and the Greensboro, North Carolina area. The test begins the day before Valentine's Day, which is next Monday.
Okay.
So it's a cauliflower steak that is deep-fried, hand-breaded, pressure-cooked, and then served on a bun, just like their stereotypical chicken sandwich, of which it is, without a doubt, the best chicken sandwich. All right, I love Popeyes, too. It's awesome. This is the original. It wins. And it always comes with pickles, which is correct.
No arguments from me.
Here's why I'm excited about this. First of all, I absolutely love cauliflower. Cauliflower pizza, very high on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Cauliflower wings, which they have at the Village Porch. I guarantee you, if you're coming to watch the Super Bowl with us, you will see me eat at least 2 orders of those while I am there, because they are phenomenal. If this is as good as it looks, and I'm not going to lie to you, it looks exactly like a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. I will eat this every day for a year.
But does it taste like chicken?
Well, we already did this once. I thought that would be the easiest part of this for you to wrap your head around. I gave you the cauliflower wing, and you went, wow, that does really taste like chicken, because it's deep fried, just like a chicken wing. Yeah. It's so good.
I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong.
I'll make the sweeping declaration right now. Chick-fil-A, you need an official taste tester? I'll do this every day for 1 calendar year. I love cauliflower anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I'm looking at this, the more I absolutely need one in my face hole. They tested mushrooms, chickpeas, and chopped vegetables formed into patties. But because they are smart and they are hands down the best chicken place, they came back to cauliflower for its mild flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, that's what I had to be walked through this too, because I thought, oh, it's cauliflower. It's not going to taste like. What does chicken actually taste like?
Like chicken. Everybody.
It tastes like nothing. It tastes like whatever you put on it. That's the beauty of chicken. It's also the beauty of cauliflower. Do yourself, and if you don't believe me, I had to do this myself. Corey Short, our previous producer, he basically walked me right down this path, and I went, got a point there. Cook a piece of chicken and put nothing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then eat it. You know what it tastes like?
Nothing.
Nothing. Tastes like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And if you really want to go on the high side of that, boil it. Boil you a piece of chicken and put it in your mouth, and you will realize, oh, yeah, I get why cauliflower works, because you put all the good things on it and you deep fry it, and good for you.
Everybody knows chicken tastes like squirrel. It's common knowledge.
It's not common knowledge for me. Not common knowledge for most people. You know why? Because most of them don't eat squirrel.
You are in the sports.
Tank's out here eating government surveillance drones. I'm waiting for him to show up with a Tupperware one day, a pigeon and squirrel soup. Still have the batteries in it.
It's not bad. It's just a.
Why do you eat the grossest things?
It's not gross.
What? Like, there are so many options. I just gave you a healthy plant-based option, and your first response to me was, I want to eat the tailed, winged varmint
meat. Just
gross.
Meat.
There's
what? I'm sorry. Call me traditionalist.
Why do you eat varmints? Okay, there are so many more eating animals. All right, cow is an eating animal. Chicken, all of them. And you look at, I want to try a possum.
Stab rabbit. It's awesome.
A what?
You never had stab rabbit?
Do I look like somebody that goes to a restaurant and says, give me bugs? No.
It's not bugs.
Chicken,
not bugs.
Cow. These are the eaten creatures.
Do you even know what a stab rabbit is?
No, it's probably a squirrel, knowing you, or some liver roast mush thing that has been cobbled together from 14 animals in its antlers and snoots and hooves. Because that's what you do. And, Stephen Town in the comments said bison. Bison, eating
Bison's
animal.
Good.
That works.
Yeah, bison's good.
That maths. Tank, however, looks at, hey, I found this varmint in my trash. I'm going to eat it now. It looks like it wants to kill me, so I guess I should get it first.
All you need to survive was just a little greasy gopher. That's all you need.
Oh, how are you alive? How did you make it this far eating varmint?
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Extra points to anybody in the comments who gets the stab rabbit. What is it? And we all know it tastes like chicken.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound is slow between Brevard Road and Sand Hill Road. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, light delays southbound approaching Mills Gap Road. On Brevard Road, no delays. Long Shoals Road, incident-free. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed, because there's nothing better than staying in.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're gonna feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, and points on the board for Patrick Holt. Yeah, he got the 3-pointer here. Stab rabbit. It's the porcupine.
Of course you would eat that.
Of course you would.
I feel
it's
like
delicious.
I feel like you're the person that drives by a farm and sees a horse and goes, I wonder what that tastes like. Because I just want to eat all the weird things that are not actually edible.
They are edible. Everything's edible.
Gross.
Everything's edible. You got to be careful how you prepare the porcupine, though.
There's no food on this planet that anybody has ever told me, you prepared it the wrong way. You know what I've never had somebody say, you prepared it the wrong way? Steak. I've never had somebody with a T-bone go, yeah, but you did it wrong. You know what? That's why I don't eat varmint.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, porcupines, they're dangerous animals. And they got those quills on them.
They like impale you.
Yeah, so it's like lobsters. You have to put them in the pot alive to boil them to get the quills to come off.
At Sports Tank ESPN.
No, don't do that. No, I don't know how to fix stab rabbit. I've never had it.
Lie. That was a lie.
Hilarious.
I feel like any critter, Tank just looks at it and goes, I bet that's good with some honey mustard.
Absolutely. I'm willing to try anything once.
I'm not. I stick to 4 basic food groups: nicotine, protein, alcohol, anger. That's the 4 food groups of Jeremy A. Green.
Wow. And that, my friends, is what leads to a massive coronary at the age of 40.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I ain't here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. All right.
Speaking of a good time,
my life insurance premium is way more than my health insurance premium, and there's a reason for that.
We are going to have a good time for a long time on Sunday over at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue.
And there will be no varmint on the menu, I promise.
No. You can get the cauliflower wings.
Oh, they're so good.
Yes, they are. They're
the
very
Boom
good.
Boom sauce? Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what Boom Boom sauce is. It's happy. It just tastes like happiness.
You don't need to know what's in it. It's phenomenal.
You got the buffalo sauce. You got barbecue sauce. You got all kinds of
They got great chicken wings, great hamburgers over there. Obviously, there will be food and drink specials for Sunday's big game at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue. Come hang out with us. We'll have door prizes as well to be given away.
We might even be able to go sledding because apparently it's going to snow.
That could be a possibility.
Brian Haynes will be with us too, by the way. He called me right before the show. And
Nice.
That totally eluded me until just now.
Very good. Hoping to see our regulars out there as well. Stephen Tao, he's a constant at the Village Porch on Sunday afternoons.
Correct.
And, hopefully he will be joining us. He did say, by the way, about the last story, the weird story that I had to chill out because 6'9" is not ginormous.
That is correct because I'm close enough to that to take offense to it.
It is for a woman though. I mean, we can be honest about that.
Eric Miller asked if HWA is going to be there. She will indeed be there, pillar to post with us. So actually, all 4 of us will be there. Haynes will be a little late. Well, and by late, I mean he's not going to be there at 3 o'clock like I am. But we will all be there. This is a great big team building exercise where we watch the Eagles cry as Jeremy is right again. I know it's so tedious. It's Monday if I'm right. I'm telling you right now. You're talking about a victory lap. I'll take a victory lap that spans Buncombe County. You'll see me running down River Road like Forrest Gump.
As the Kansas City Chiefs demolish the Philadelphia Eagles. And color me skeptical on that one. Not gonna happen that way. But we're all rooting for a great game. And speaking of great games, best Super Bowls you've ever seen. That's our daily draft coming up after the Sports Center update here at the top of the hour.
We're saving the food draft for the day of the Super Bowl Spectacular, which is tomorrow.
7-layer dip, number 1 pick.
I don't even know what that is. Dip. You had me at dip.
No, it's the 7-layer dip with all the taco stuff. You got the refried beans and the guacamole.
I don't love refried beans, and I hate guacamole.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot your.
I need like a 5-layer dip.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Daily Draft coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or two. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning, so stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound is slow between Brevard Road and Sand Hill Road. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, light delays southbound approaching Mills Gap Road. On Brevard Road, no delays. Long Shoals Road, incident-free. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services of Asheville.
First Restoration Services has been responding 24/7 to property damage from water, fire, and storm damage since 1987. If you have a disaster on your property, there's only one company to call first. First Restoration Services of Asheville, 684-1582.
When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com, sponsored by Pfizer.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The NBA trade deadline is now in the rear view. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Clippers get Eric Gordon and Mason Plumlee in separate trades. John Wall goes back to the Rockets in the Gordon deal. The Warriors trade center James Wiseman to the Pistons, and at least two players are traded twice today. Jay Crowder is now with the Bucks, Kevin Knox with the Trailblazers. Super Bowl 57 just 3 days away, and Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes likes the way his right ankle is feeling.
I always test the field a little bit, but definitely the last game I tested out the ankle just a little bit extra just to see where I was at with the adrenaline pump and everything like that. This game, I don't know. We'll see when I get there, I guess. But I feel like I'm in a good spot already, and I'll just continue to build and try to get myself ready to go for the game.
Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs and Eagles on Sunday. Mahomes is the favorite to win his second NFL MVP award tonight. Devils leading scorer Jack Hughes week to week with an upper body injury. Kraken leading scorer Andre Burakovsky goes on IR today with a lower body injury.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy coming to you live from the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. It's 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat with us. You could also join the House of Reprehensibles. A little $2.99 a month fee just to show your appreciation for the program here. You get that little beer mug next to your name in the chat. You get the access to the super chats and the Discord chat service and all of that. Plus, much, much more. Early releases on merch, things like that, coming your way to House of Reprehensibles members. So, of course, join our nice little group here. Top of the third hour of the program, before the Football Friday tomorrow, we will have, of course, all the ins and outs of the Super Bowl, prop bets, all of it coming your way tomorrow.
Asheville Police Chief David Zach.
Yes. Good to know he'll be back with us to break down the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57. Now, what are the greatest games of all time? We all have our short lists. We all have those games that you just absolutely will never forget. Now, these are greatest games of all time, not the ones that that mean the most to us. So Super Bowl 37's out for me. I mean, that was one of the worst of all time.
Oh, it was awful.
Right. I mean,
frankly, if you pick any game that was between about 1985 and 2000 and, well, minus one, 2004, I think you need to have your head examined.
Okay.
There were some awful games for about a 20-year period.
Right.
Seemed like every time we played this game, it was a 30-point blowout.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a couple that were peppered in there that one of them is going to be very early on my list.
Right. They were okay. But, yeah, I mean, we typically get good games. Sometimes they're great. And really, in recent years, I feel like they've been more great than they've not been.
When was the last time we had one that, I mean, other than Tampa Bay, Kansas City? That one wasn't great. Seattle, Denver wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you got to go back to like 2007 when Indy just blew out the Bears. And it was gross and ugly.
Mm-hmm. And who didn't know that was coming? You can't trot out Rex Grossman in a Super Bowl and expect to win. Even though you do have Devin Hester, the greatest punt returner of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer. No. I got the first pick, greatest games of all time. I got to go to the Pats. Pats and the Seahawks. That was Super Bowl 49.
That was actually the origination of one of my favorite lines, which is, run the damn ball!
Absolutely. You cannot forget it. I mean, the Malcolm Butler interception when you're on the 1.5-yard line, why the hell are you not running Marshawn Lynch to win this game? Russell Wilson decides to throw the pass to some guy I've never heard of, and Malcolm Butler jumps in front of it.
That would be, wasn't it Jermaine Kearse?
No, it was Ricardo Lockett.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Jermaine Kearse was after that.
Yeah. Stop that. Stop that. Malcolm Butler steps in front of the pass at the goal line, intercepts Russell Wilson. It was the largest game-swinging play as far as win percentages in the history of the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks went from like an 85% chance to win to 0 with that one play.
That's one of those you remember where you were.
Absolutely. I will never, because I was heavy on the New England Patriots are going to win this game, and I don't. Were we doing the show together back then? No, that was before you. I think it was the other Jeremy that I was just going back and forth. He was telling me Seattle was going to win this game, and I'm not going against Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the whole thing. And when they threw that interception at the goal line, I just went, "Oh, thank you for saving me, because this is going to be a fun show next time." It's one of those where I felt like I was wrong almost the entire game, and then New England did that thing that they do.
This is one of the first Super Bowls that I ever got wrong. I went on a tear picking Super Bowls where I didn't miss one for like 12 years.
Good night.
Including my first pick, which is to this day one of the biggest wagers I've ever won in my life. Going to 2008, New York Giants over the New England Patriots. That was that undefeated 18 wins, 1 giant loss team.
Yep.
Yeah. I was so dead convinced the Giants were going to beat them. And it might have been hatred. Who knows?
Of course it was.
Well, at that point, the hatred wasn't that strong. I had wagered on New England twice in Super Bowls. But there was something about that one. And I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of felt about New England that year the way I feel about Philadelphia now. Of, yes, you have done this, but the only corner that they had played, and this has been a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember specifics. The only corner that was really any good that they'd played the entire year was Revis. And he had shut down Randy Moss. He allowed one over the top. Other than that, they hadn't played anybody that had that corner that could stop Randy Moss. He had been absolutely unstoppable. And then they got into the game, and Steve Spagnuolo did what Steve Spagnuolo does, which is, you're not going to beat me the one way that you want to. And then Eli Manning had 2 of the most absolutely incredible throws you'll ever see in your life. Oh, it was a great day.
That was David Tyree?
That was David Tyree.
That was the David Tyree year.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was.
And then he hit Plexico in the end zone. And then Plexico hit himself in the kneecap.
Yeah. Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't
He
you?
played for the Jets. It's fine. I'm a Jets fan. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
The other, and I took that one. That was a little self-serving. That was a phenomenal game. I actually think the one I'm getting ready to pick is probably the best one we ever had. And it's really my first, like, I remember the Cowboys Super Bowls. I was little.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one I remember, like, I know every player on this field. I'm super emotionally invested. And it was Super Bowl 34, 2000, Rams-Titans. And that's Kevin Dyson gets stopped at the 1 foot line in a game that the Rams were up 16-0.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was going to be a blowout. And then here come the Titans.
Yep.
I still, to this day, think that's the greatest game I've ever seen.
I feel like if you weren't rooting for the comeback, if you weren't rooting for Steve McNair and the Tennessee Titans to come back in that game, you missed the boat.
Well, that was an interesting year because you had the Rams that had come out of nowhere with Kurt Warner after Trent Green got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a juggernaut that nobody can stop. And I like I said, this is still the best game I've ever seen. And I was dead convinced for about 3 years that he actually somehow got in, and it was all angles, and it was where that was where little Jeremy conspiracy theory was born.
I feel like when I go back and I watch that clip, he was a lot closer to scoring.
Oh yeah,
he was a lot closer to scoring than it looks on the tape.
Oh, he got to the 1 foot line, and there's no doubt if there was some way to have the eye in the sky where you could go down the line, he was probably no more than 50 inches short of the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
And had he not landed on his shoulder first, he probably would have gotten in.
It is forever and a day when you really look at it close. He was so close, yet so far away.
I'm not sure that will ever be beat. That was last play of the game. Here we go.
Well,
and it's not a field goal. It's this is a real life. This is the
right. This is
Jimmy's and Joe's. Yeah. This is all the players that we came to watch. Not Harrison Butker lining up for a 27-yard field goal. You got to get in the end zone. My guys, your guys.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one. I like that one. Super Bowl 34, the Titans just barely losing to the St. Louis Rams. 1999, wasn't that?
2000.
99
it was the season,
99
the
season.
year 2000.
Yes. That's a very good one.
I feel like there's one you're going to take, and we're going to argue about it. And I'm not sure that it's not the next one you're going to take.
Really?
It rates very highly on many of these lists.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue it's not in the top 20, let alone in the top 10.
Okay. The next one that I will be going with is Super Bowl 43. This was Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona Cardinals.
That's a good one.
The toe tap. I will never forget where I was when I saw Santonio Holmes with the toe tap at the edge of the end, because I could have swore to God there's no chance, no shot that he was inbounds. And sure enough, he had plenty of room with the toe tap. It was just a phenomenal game. These were two teams that I really, really loved. It was all, right in the height of that, Ben Roethlisberger, Jerome Bettis, Troy Polamalu era, Hines Ward era.
That was really the year that Roethlisberger flipped the script.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those players that had two very different acts. Because early in his career, he didn't throw that much. That was a smash mouth, play good defense. Then that year happened, and they got just markedly more pass happy.
Mm-hmm.
They were pass happier towards the end, but that's just the game changed.
Right.
Didn't James Harrison have like a ridiculous interception return in that game?
He did.
It's like 100 yards. It was the longest interception return in NFL history.
It was,
or in Super Bowl history.
It was pretty long. I can't recall off the top of my head.
I remember being dumbfounded that anybody that big could outrun 21 other people.
Right. That was obviously the Cardinals team. He had Kurt Warner trying to win a Super Bowl with a different team. Larry Fitzgerald, who should have gotten a ring. It's one of the guys that I look back on and go, man, I really wanted that for him.
That was also the game where the New York Jets went, oh, everybody in Pittsburgh hates Santonio Holmes. We should give him lots of money and trade for him because that will make us a contender. Oh, every year I look at the Super Bowl and I go, what stupid thing did we do after that? Neil O'Donnell after especially if it involves the Pittsburgh Steelers for some reason. Some of the dumbest things we've ever done have been what you did in a Super Bowl, and we went, hey, we need that guy. Neil O'Donnell. Oh, that's a bad word in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Santonio Holmes. Pretty close.
We got the horrible game in 2003, Super Bowl 37, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Oakland Raiders
at that time.
Yeah, Oakland Raiders at that time. We had that bad game. Unless you were a Bucs fan, we loved it. But the following year gave us one of the all-time greats. We'll talk about that one up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Gravity is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slowing between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, incident-free. Smoky Park Highway, no backups. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher. Via Hendersonville Road southbound, drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/store/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
For my small bookstore to thrive, I can't just sell books. So I created a radio ad at iHeartAdBuilder.com to tell everyone about our author events, our story hours for kids, and our amazing lattes. Now we're busier than ever. I'd call that a success story.
A custom radio ad from iHeartAdBuilder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
My new cafe is always packed at lunch. Thing is, we need a dinner rush to keep up with expenses. So I whipped up my own radio campaign at iHeartAdBuilder.com to advertise our weekly specials. Now dinner reservations are booked weeks in advance, and things are really cooking.
A custom radio ad from iHeartAdBuilder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com. Or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio, and we are in the midst of the daily draft here on a Super Thursday as we prepare for Super Bowl 57 this Sunday. We will be hanging out watching the game down at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue. We're going to keep reminding everybody you're more than welcome to come on down and join us. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, not only with our regulars, but hopefully with a lot of new faces as well. 41 North Merriman Avenue, the Village Porch, your football central for the Sportsocracy. Now,
domestic lights for all.
Yes, and fireball shots. We keep forgetting to mention the mullet makers. Jeremy's really excited about the drink that he has not really created. I feel like somebody's already done this before, but
well, no, there's a drink called the Boilermaker. It's a shot of whiskey and you drop it in your beer, and you don't have to do all those things. This is what makes the mullet the mullet.
That is very true.
Because that's what I run on. That's fuel.
Some kind of domestic light with the fireball shot. There will be drink specials all afternoon long. We'll have door prizes as well to give away. It's going to be a great time at the Village Porch. We're drafting today on the Daily Draft the greatest Super Bowls we've ever seen. Now, I'm discounting ones that were before our time or ones that happened when I was 6 years old and I've only seen tapes of, and that I'm focusing on ones that I can remember where I was.
I did that -1. There is one that you never know, might not take it.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what you do. Most of mine are very recent, though.
Yeah. All right. So I started it off with the Patriots-Seahawks. Obviously, that was a great game. Run the damn ball. Come on, Pete Carroll. What are you thinking? Then Jeremy goes Giants and the Pats. This was the David Tyree game, the helmet catch game. Then Rams-Titans, where the Titans almost made the comeback and came up just a yard and a half short. Then I went Steelers-Cardinals with the toe tap from Santonio Holmes being the highlight play of the game. And then, as I said before the break, Super Bowl 37 didn't give you much. Tampa Bay absolutely dominated the Oakland Raiders. It was all about the defense, scoring touchdowns, and all of that. The next year, though, when the Super Bowl went down to Houston, it was again an NFC South team facing off against the New England Patriots. And I'm sorry, Carolina Panther fans, but even though you don't like how the game ended, you have to admit it was one of the greatest things, one of the greatest achievements that we've ever seen. I mean, this wasn't the start of it, but this was the still on the rise of the legend of Tom Brady. John Casey kicks the ball out of bounds,
I was at a Super Bowl party, and I will never forget the pure sadness when that ball went out of bounds. And this was really before Brady was Brady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was
and
this
I
year
was
too.
Heavy on New England.
This was just Super Bowl number 2.
I was heavy on New England this game, and I just I'll never forget coyly looking at everybody going, yeah, I see he's in my division. I've gotten to see this firsthand enough times.
Mm-hmm. So John Casey kicks the ball out of bounds, gives the Patriots the short field. Tom Brady began doing the thing that Tom Brady did for so many years of doing just enough to get his team within striking distance, and then Adam Vinatieri kicking the game-winning field goal as the Patriots went on to beat the Carolina Panthers in, what would be their second Super Bowl trophy in, 3 years?
Yes. You don't have to go back real far for my next one.
Okay.
Because this is Super Bowl 57. That's the one we're getting ready to play on Sunday.
This is going to be the greatest one of all time.
I'm going Super Bowl 56. I'm taking the one from last year.
Oh,
with the Rams and the Bengals.
Okay.
That was one of those back and forths. I never got a great feeling that one of those teams was better than the other, which has not happened a lot of times in Super Bowls. Sometimes the better team didn't win, But this is one of the few times I looked at it and went, I don't think we can be upset no matter who wins this game. And then you have the Aaron Donald play at the end that keeps Cincinnati from – it was just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, if the one we see Sunday is even in the stratosphere of what we saw last year, especially with the greatest halftime show of all time, not close, then we'll be in quite great shape.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, all right, I might be letting my own personal feelings cloud myself here. Because I'm going Super Bowl 52, which was when the Philadelphia Eagles beat the New England Patriots. Because that was one of the only times that I ever saw Tom got in that scenario. He gets the ball, and you've seen it so many times, you just know it's getting ready to happen. And he's going to go down here and win another one, and you know that the Patriots fans are never going to stop. And then, uh-oh, ball's on the ground. The ball is on the ground.
Brandon Graham with the big strip sack of Tom Brady.
So, Eagles fans that think I hate them, I need you to understand, when you won your Super Bowl in the Philly special game, as soon as that clock hit 0, and trust me, I waited until it hit 0 because I never trust Tom Brady's dead until he's dead, is the only time in my life that I have ever gone out on my patio and just stone cold Steve Austin domestic lights, and I did it for hours.
Right.
I mean, hours. That is one of the longest nights of my entire life. That's a story for another day. But that was one of the greatest Super Bowls ever.
Okay. I can't disagree with you there. That was going to be my next pick. I'm kind of angry about you taking that one, but it is what it is. It was a phenomenal game, and here's the thing. It was the greatest quarterback performance we've ever seen, and it wasn't the guy that won the game.
No.
Tom Brady had the best game in Super Bowl history. What did he throw for 520 yards or something?
It was something insane.
And still ended up losing the game.
Oh, that's such a great phrase to hear. Tom Brady lost, period. That's all I need. That's enough for me.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoyed that one, Jeremy, I know you absolutely hated this one because it's Super Bowl 51. The greatest comeback.
That's the one I've been waiting for you to say, because that wasn't actually a great game. It was two horrid games sandwiched on each side of each other. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have taken that if we got to 20. Because it was some of the worst football you'll ever see in your life. Oh, but it ended. No, I knew exactly how it was going to end. And Tank can actually verify this because he was sitting at a table with me as it happened. When they scored, I want to say it was, I don't remember what the score was. I remember Adam, our buddy Adam, mutual friend of Tank and mine, we were playing in a squares game, and we just couldn't stop hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So you can assume how that went.
Yeah. Oh, it was shots all around.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we were about a platter. And I remember looking at Adam going, Tom Brady's going to end up winning this game because I've read this book before.
Mm-hmm.
I've read this book too many times before, and I see how it's going to end. And then Atlanta just absolutely fell on their face.
Yep. To me, it was not two gross games put together. It was two dominating performances put together.
See, to me, that's I don't want to see anybody get dominated. I saw two teams play terribly each for a half.
But you saw the best that the Atlanta Falcons could give. They were up 28-3, and you went, oh, my. It's going to happen. The Falcons finally have their benchmark moment.
Oh, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker, too. At halftime, I was, let the good times roll.
Yep.
The Brady dynasty is dead. And then I saw it. Once I saw it,
yep.
Oh, no.
All the things
that was also the year that Joe Namath handed the Super Bowl trophy to Tom Brady.
Yes, it was.
And my soul actually died. I felt my soul die.
Yeah. All of the things that, had to happen for that miraculous comeback to take place. The Julian Edelman catch, the James White touchdown, going into overtime. I mean, it was phenomenal. Patriots over the Falcons. Greatest comeback in history. Obviously, we all know the 28-3 jokes still don't stop to this day, and they never will.
No.
Oh, and then I got one more.
Yeah,
right?
you got one more.
Oh, wow. I for some reason I felt like that was 5. Nope, but it wasn't. All right, how about we go a little further back? We've been living in this this modern era, so to speak. I'm gonna go back to Super Bowl 32. This was Denver Broncos, Green Bay Packers, the helicopter game. John Elway trying to get it done, trying to win the Super Bowl, and I will never forget watching decrepit old John Elway just go all out for the end zone. He didn't make it. But he eventually did, and they ended up winning a really close game, 31-24 over the Green Bay Packers. And it meant so much to me as a kid to see John Elway, win. But then it also did me a great service to see the Green Bay Packers lose. For some reason, I hated Green Bay back then.
Yeah, I've never hated Green Bay. I remember that game quite intricately. I didn't have really a rooting interest back then. Well, that's not true. The Broncos had beat my Jets. Yeah, I had a rooting interest.
Yeah, I had a
wasn't
rooting
Denver.
interest.
Well, I gave you every opportunity to take the one I'm getting ready to take.
Okay.
I already took the Giants in New England once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to do it again.
You go do it again.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again. We're going 2012, Super Bowl 44. This was the Mario Manningham game. And I'm not sure that it wasn't every bit as good. I didn't want to take the same two teams twice, so I've given you every chance to do this, and you just never did it.
No, I didn't.
That one was, that was a phenomenal game.
Because it's the flukiest thing ever. To me, it's just the flukiest thing ever.
Weird, because you did it twice.
I know. And that's the thing that has baffled me forever since they happened. Of Eli Manning is the most milquetoast average quarterback in the history of time in my brain. But somehow he came up with 4 throws in 2 separate Super Bowls
that were
phenomenal.
Yeah, that's why he will be in the Hall of Fame.
He never repeated it.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Except for those 4 throws.
Yep, did it then. That's all that matters. And look, I way back in the day, I said if Eli Manning's last name was Jones and he was Eli Jones, he would be a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah.
I was right in a way. I was wrong in a way.
He
did win 2 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm. Eli Manning, his entire career is absolutely maddening to me.
That gave me 2 really happy moments.
Exactly. Because think about if those throws had not been right on the money where they needed to be, we'd be talking about Tom Brady and his 9 Super Bowl rings.
And for that, Eli, we're very appreciative.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or 2. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning. So stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923, exit 3. 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
When prices go up, you get paid out.
Just won $1,000.
Win $1,000 in inflation compensation.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
You're so money.
Yeah.
Listen weekdays between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. for your chance to win $1,000. When you hear the keyword for the hour, log on to ESPNAVL.com and enter it for your chance at $1,000. It's inflation compensation from ESPN Asheville.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Make 2023 the year that you change your life and you win that battle with your weight problem. It can happen for you. I mean, I've said this time and time again in my life. I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to lose the weight. 2022, that was the year for me. The PhD weight loss program helped me lose more than 90 pounds last year. PhD's the way to go.
Many people in the new year say, new year, new me. The only problem is that they use a lot of the same tendencies, which leads to new year, same you. Sometimes you need a little help, and that's what PhD gives you. They give you plenty of the food. They give you all the direction, all the guidance. If it works for a guy like me that was as lazy with my food choices as I was, it will work for you. PhD weight loss.
I lived all of my adult life around the 300-pound mark, and now I'm down around 200 pounds, and I feel infinitely better, as you can imagine. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. It's myphdweightloss.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It is Sportocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
And let's go up to Altoona, Pennsylvania, where the city of Altoona and the Logan Township, it was an exciting day on Monday. And all because of one man. His name is Robert Powers. And he's a 37-year-old man who I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say there were drugs involved. Because this guy, for whatever reason, decided he is going to choose violence on Monday. And I mean that in every literal sense of the word. The day began out as he went to one home, broke down the door of his ex-girlfriend, and then left when he realized that she wasn't home. He then went to another house, walked in through an unlocked door, confronted a woman who was living there. The woman told police that he put her in a bear hug and placed a hand over her mouth and told her, "I am Batman." She was able to wriggle free, and he wasn't Batman. And he wasn't Batman. She was able to
he was arrested man.
Right, get free, and he once again left the house. Complaints ensued to the police. He goes to the next house, and he finds a man out in the front yard. He puts the man in a headlock, takes him inside of the house, for whatever reason, turned the gas stove on high, and then left with the guy. Like, forced him into a white pickup truck and then just took off. Police are now getting the idea of this little crime spree, and they're catching on, and he leads them on a chase through Altoona, topping speeds of 100 miles per hour. He crashed the truck, got away, ran into a woman outside of her home, pulled a knife on her. He's full 1,000% on the FAFO scale.
Oh, yeah. He's 28 fob, and I have a feeling he's going to 40 fo.
Absolutely. And then it all came crashing down when the police finally caught up to him. And here's the ticker for the day. That's 4 home invasions. That's 4 assaults, a stolen truck, a kidnapped man, 3 police departments, 100 mile per hour speed chase. It's a pretty eventful day. And again, I'm going to go out on a limb and say drugs were involved.
Well, he thinks he's Batman.
Exactly.
And based on the fact that none of that sounded very wealthy, I'm going to say that you're not. I was today years old when I learned there was something called the necessity defense.
The necessity defense, okay.
Did you know this?
I don't know. What?
Don't do this. I cannot believe it worked. And the fact that it came from California doesn't surprise me in the least. This is from Mendocino County. This led District Attorney David Eister to say, that is something I have never seen before. A 60-year-old man. He committed a crime. In a moment, I will tell you what that crime is. We just went through a 4-day trial at which the end of it, he was acquitted. The necessity defense must prove 3 factors. That the person acted in an emergency to prevent significant bodily harm or evil to himself or someone else. That's A.
Mm-hmm.
B, that you had no adequate legal alternative. C, the defendant committing said crime did not create a greater danger than the one avoided. So he committed a crime, and a judge in California said that he met that and acquitted him. Would you like to hear what the crime was?
Yes.
It was a DUI. Now, would you like to say, but wait, that makes no sense. How could you hit all of those things? And this was what the 60-year-old man successfully argued. His wife had walked in on him with his girlfriend, and he had enraged both because they didn't know about each other.
Oh.
And so what his argument was, if I had stayed around, one of them would have killed me. So I got in my car, I drove down the road, and they didn't follow me. That worked.
Wow.
That worked. And you know why? Because California.
So the DUI was a crime of necessity.
Yes.
To save his life, because one of either his mistress or his wife were going to murder him.
That is the most horrible precedent I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And the fact it came from California is reason number 4,217 that we have 49 states. I don't consider that one. You're your own little territory of stupidity that I can't wrap my head around.
I was going to say, do we know the whereabouts of Todd Williams in that case?
At Sports Take ESPN. I didn't say anything. I was nice.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And, yeah, don't do crimes. Just don't do crimes. Our off-season previews.
Tank's been flirting with disaster all week, just waiting to see if someone. And I have a funny feeling that'll be the one.
What? That'll be the one.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Maybe.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
You never know. Sometimes you got to live on the razor's edge.
I, too, like to live dangerously.
All right, the off-season previews. Let's continue here as earlier in the program, we were talking about the Tennessee Titans, and now it's time to talk about the Cleveland Browns.
And I feel very different about these two teams.
What do you mean by that?
I feel like Cleveland has just quite the rosy little outlook moving forward.
See, I would like to think so, but I just don't know. The last 7 games of the season or whatever they had Deshaun Watson back, I never saw it.
Of course you didn't.
I never saw what I was expecting to see.
Of course you didn't. He's not with the team the entire year. Oh, but we let him have a playbook in October. Okay. He hadn't played a competitive football game in 2 years. Of course that's the way it looked. Doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, it looked worse than I expected. I expected there was going to be some cobwebs. There was going to be some disjointed but I never got I never got the feeling that this team is putting it all together. Now, obviously, they're going to have a full offseason, full camps, full practices, all that kind of stuff. Deshaun is not going to be facing any more suspensions or anything like that. So, obviously, you like that for Cleveland going into this year. Amari Cooper was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I've already told you this is the best year humanly possible to need what? It's a really deep draft class. Where?
Wide receiver.
There you go. They need 2 of them. They need 2 of them, and you have limited draft capital. Great. I'll wait till day 3.
They don't need 2 of them.
Stop. God, you're more delusional about Donovan Peoples-Jones than I am about Auden Tate. Auden Tate at least went to my school. You need 2 receivers. Mm-hmm. You have 1 pick in the first 2 rounds. What's the other thing they need? Somebody that's above, 240 to play defensive tackle. Because their little itty-bitty defensive tackle, they didn't hold up. Well, the good thing for you, there's about 3 that are going to go in that range. My mock draft that's coming out Saturday, the in full, will have little shorts coming out tomorrow, so you'll be able to see little teasers, whatever your team might do. The Cleveland only has 1 pick. That pick's Mozzie Smith from Michigan. Yeah, I think that'll do it. That's probably good enough to put in between Myles Garrett and whatever you put on the other side. Mm-hmm. Take all of that talent. The fact that Woods is no longer your defensive coordinator is probably enough for that defense to get back to where it should.
Right.
Now, am I telling you that they're going to win this division? No. They could. They have the talent to win the division.
Maybe. Cincinnati is so good that I don't know that I see anybody taking that division away from them in the next few years. But Cleveland's going to be a close second. Hopefully Baltimore can get their situations figured out with injuries and staying healthy and sewing up Lamar, however that happens.
I mean, all right, so ask yourself this question. Let's say Baltimore does shore up Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Is their roster better than Cleveland's?
No.
Is Lamar Jackson better than Deshaun Watson? No.
See, I don't know.
The answer to that is an unequivocal no.
From Deshaun Watson that we were familiar with, yes, that guy's better.
Yeah, and that guy's going to have a full offseason now. He'll be with the team. He'll be able to go through training camp, and he's going to have actual legitimate weapons. Because I fully believe they'll double down in day 3. Well, 3rd round on. And you'll see Amari Cooper as the legit one, and then a smattering of Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Bell, David Njoku, and you still get the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland is every year we have 7 teams that make the playoffs, 1 year to the next, where where they didn't make it the year before. I would say there's probably not 3 in the NFL that I feel better about going into next year than I do Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a lot of things that were just weird. It's weird that your defense went from really good to absolutely god-awful. Every player on that defense didn't suddenly become terrible. There's still a lot of talent there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at Cleveland with you take away the noise. And we said that going in. There's so much noise here that there's almost no way this can work the way that you want it to. But you're doing this for the last 4 years of that deal. They're going to restructure Deshaun Watson in this offseason. That fixes practically every salary cap issue. Is it kicking the can down the road? To a point, but you're going to do that every year. I said that the minute they signed this deal because you can push that all the way to the end of the contract, and it's still probably never an albatross. Probably never gets to that point because he'll be either 30 or 31 at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're going to do. This team has drafted pretty well under Andrew Berry.
Yep.
And I just think they're going to be fine.
And I think Jim Schwartz coming in as the defensive coordinator is going to be great for them.
I'm not as wild about that as you are. I mean, I think it's Jim fine. Schwartz. Yeah. I think he's a good coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know how I feel about his fit with all of these pieces, but I've seen him do it before. And satisfied Browns fan and Stephen Tao in the comments, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is the most competitive division in football.
Yes.
And I'm not sure it's all that close because there's not a wart here.
Right.
The wart is Pittsburgh, who, by the way, you want to talk about a team that just lays out perfectly in the draft. I almost can't screw it up, and I tried to. Like, how do you do something that I don't like? Oh, there's not a way.
Right.
Oh, you would physically have to go so far off the board that somebody would have to be legally intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Pittsburgh will always be competitive. Always. It never fails. I've doubted them for, 3 years straight now? And for somehow, some way, they always find a reason or a way to be competitive at the end of a season.
It's the only division in football where you could tell me any of their 4 teams not only made the playoffs, but won the division, and it wouldn't shock me.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't shock me in the least. And that's before the offseason. I flat out don't care. I've already gone down the rabbit hole of fixing every team that didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in great shape. Cincinnati, yeah, they're the favorite. Wouldn't shock me if Cleveland won this division. Wouldn't shock me if Baltimore won it.
Yep.
Wouldn't shock me if Pittsburgh won it.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch moving forward.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the best for the Cleveland Browns. I thought we would see more of a positive sign at the end of the season. But it just never came.
Well,
it was a lost season anyway.
Well, I mean, if you remember, by the time Deshaun Watson came back, I said, you're going to have to win every game. Then they lost the second one?
Mm-hmm.
His second game back, they lose. Well, it's done now. Because even if you win out, you're still going to be 9-8 at best.
Right.
And that's not going to make the playoffs.
Right. Ended up losing.
And I felt like there was some defeated towards the end of the year, a little bit of give up. They're going to come back in the offseason. Yeah, you'll see them add a few pieces. It'll be just fun.
Yep. I agree. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, 26 eastbound slowing between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Charlotte Highway, no backups. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed because there's nothing better than staying in.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
And now for today's Roblox Winter Weather Alert. iHeartland on Roblox has been walloped by a winter snowstorm. It is a winter wonderland. You can now ice skate at State Farm Park. In State Farm Neighborhood, you can compete in snowball fights, grab a hot cocoa and cookies, and more. There's also special events from your favorite artists and podcasters all month, along with scavenger hunts, exclusive content, and unique items. So enjoy the festive winter weather at iHeartland on Roblox. Head to iHeartRadio.com/iHeartland today.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. a premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Sportsocracy.
This is Gene Decaro, voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
Memories like the colors of your mind.
Those were the days.
Misty watercolor memories. Before Tom Brady retired.
Super Bowl 57 coming up on Sunday. Please join us down at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue. We're going to be hanging out down there in the afternoon all through the evening. We'll be having mullet makers galore.
Oh, it's going
There will be cauliflower chicken wings.
Oh, yeah.
There will be
real chicken wings?
There will be the real chicken
There
wings.
will be no varmint wings. I can attest there will be no opossum.
I mean, we could probably get some added to the menu.
I
just
don't
for
think
the
so.
day. Can we
I don't
not?
think so.
No? A little boiled stab rabbit for anybody? No?
We don't do varmints around the Village Porch.
Join us for the big game. It's going to be a lot of fun, as always, down at the Village Porch. Again, 41 North Merriman Avenue. And, you know, trying to go through these off seasons and discuss what's going to happen. And Derek Carr is a huge linchpin to what's going to unfold this offseason. And apparently there's news.
This is from Tom Pelissero. It was retweeted by Ian Rappaport. The Saints and Raiders already have the framework of a Derek Carr trade in place. Unfortunately, you buried the lead. That was a condition for Las Vegas to let the visit happen. And this is how legitimately stupid I feel like this front office is. They went, yeah, well, we agreed to a trade. Why would we not do that? Because why would I give you a third-round pick if I didn't have to?
Right.
Why would I inherit a contract that you signed as opposed to giving him a new one that I put together if I don't have to? Derek Carr's already told people around him, I don't want the team that I wind up with to trade for me.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason for us to give trade compensation to the Raiders. And apparently the visit was quite a lengthy one. That was the word from Rap Sheet.
Yes.
And that's a real nice way of saying Derek Carr's going to the New Orleans Saints. First opportunity he gets. So to me, that's one domino that's already off the board. It's really more a question of what happens from there.
Okay.
Well, Derek Carr's the best quarterback in this division by a mile.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Does that rejuvenate the New Orleans offense?
Well,
definitely can't hurt. You can't do worse.
You can't be worse than Andy Dalton
and Jameis Winston
and Taysom Hill.
Yeah. And Ian Book.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we'd hit the quadrology. Let's go.
The
Let's
quadrology.
go.
Long live the quadrology. Yeah, Derek Carr, it makes absolutely no sense for anybody to give up a third-round pick. I thought it was hilarious when I saw this report earlier today that, they're only asking for a third-round pick. Well,
they could be asking for a football pump. And, nope, that's too much for me. It's going to be a no from me, dog.
Right.
Because I can do it for nothing.
New Orleans, the only team to show enough interest to bring in Derek Carr for a visit.
Did you also see the now deleted tweet from David Carr?
No.
He tweeted a picture of Derek Carr in a Saints jersey. Like,
did he really?
Yeah, and then I guess just thought nobody would see it. Because he took it down really quick. The only problem is that people have this thing called a screenshot. They're papal. That's how Twitter works. Once you say it, it's out there.
So this looks like it could be a done deal.
I think it'll be done as soon as the league year starts.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the first dominoes to fall.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, and tomorrow
Football Friday.
Yes, indeed it is. We will have all of your all of the discussions about the game that are important, the prop bets. Asheville Police Chief David Zach will be in studio with us to play our last ditch effort to take down Jeremy and beat the Chief.
You can win the Super Bowl, but I am your reigning, defending regular season and postseason champion.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be king.
We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 for a Football Friday. See you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Been a windy day today, especially on the mountaintops. There have been wind alerts up all day for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts off on the mountains on the state line of Tennessee. 40 degrees our low tonight with a sprinkle or two. Big change up to the weather scene this weekend, including the potential for snow Sunday morning here all the way down to the valley floor Sunday morning, so stay tuned. Big drop to the numbers, 50 on Friday, 49 Saturday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go in Haywood County, 40 westbound between NC 209 and US 276. Patton Avenue southbound approaching New Leicester Highway is slow. On Airport Road near Fanning Bridge Road, an accident reported. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road moving well. Checking the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via Meadow Road. Drive time 11 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time.